Greetings, people, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. News that's making rounds in Kenya as Ruto suffers another blow as a globalist stooge, an effigy of the colonial power. Now, as you have heard last week or 2 weeks ago, Trump was going to halt every foreign aid to other developing countries worldwide. And the discussion yesterday that was making rounds, that was going kind of catching a lot of, was going viral, was the discussion about USAID, which now it's no longer a secret. USAID has been a front for the CIA to carry out their various mission agenda in different countries. Again, I've always talked about that in this channel in my previous videos. Go check them out. I don't even know which one in particular, but go check them out. And I've always given you reference where you can find more information on that. Karibu sana Principal Kaur. Shi Mariam na kuona pia karibu sana. Yes, guys. So, as the world starts grappling, especially the developing countries, start grappling with this new reality of not being dependent on US foreign aid. We had the former president Uhuru Kenyatta makes those remarks regarding, the importance of us being self-reliant, okay, which was actually a good point, even though it was coming from the devil himself. Karibu sana Green. Karibu, hi. So, Uhuru says that, we need to be independent. We need to, you know, um, save money, be more frugal, and have money for us to pay for these things that we need, like healthcare and stuff like that. All right. Now, Trump did not stop there. Last week, as Ruto came out and told us, there was a press briefing where he told us that actually immediately after Trump became president, okay, just a few days or the next week after that, Ruto came out and told us that Trump was fully backing the Kenya's mission in Haiti. Now, remember, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades, it was Biden's administration who are actually, using Ruto to meddle into Haiti's affairs. We all know the history of the US in Haiti. It's a deep, dirty history that a lot of people do not want to dig. I'm not going to take you through that because that's not the topic of discussion today, but this is what I will just highlight as I bring you to into terms with what's going on right now in Kenya, okay? Green says Ruto lies about everything, and I mean everything. You're right. Ruto lies about everything, Mr. Green. She's saying, Miti Metereza ya Kasongo, even after trying to seduce the white man. Okay, Green says, Ruto lies about everything. Yes. So remember, guys, uh, the mission in Haiti, first of all, was illegal, okay? This went to court and it was adjudicated on. Remember, the law states that if the police forces were to be deployed in Haiti, our security forces, whatever the case, defense forces were supposed to, if they were to be sent to Haiti, Haiti needs to have a similar, reciprocal um, clause that says that if Kenya was to go under some, um, civil strife or whatever the case, unrest, Haiti should have a clause similar to Kenya's where Haiti can send their forces to Kenya and do the same. But that wasn't the case because that's what our law says. In order to send our police forces to Haiti, they have to have a reciprocal laws that can do the same for us, which wasn't the case. So the matter went to court, and Ruto lost the case. But Ruto being Ruto, obviously, probably Biden, the Biden administration, one of the most corrupt U.S. administrations ever, besides Nixon and others. Biden administration being corrupt as they were, they, they were still pressuring using Ruto through Meg Whitman, telling her, hey, listen, if you send your troops there, we shall give you some X amount of money. Usually, how these deals work, they give the government several billions. Again, these billions might not, and I'm pretty sure most of it will not get to the troops on the ground. It will not be for their salary. We actually heard about the salaries, just last week when we were talking about now Ruto is, the members of military, they won't have this, their food prices will go up because the government cannot, the government is not investing or whatever the case is. So they'll be buying their foods will be more expensive than it was before. Because remember, before they had some, they had some, what do you call it? What do you call it? They were buying goods and services and food and stuff like that cheaper than the regular mwananchi. I'm forgetting the word to use. So you heard about that. Karibu Laban. Karibu Laban, I see you. Hi. Nice seeing you, my friend. So anyway, basically the Biden administration told Ruto, listen, if you send your troops in Haiti, because America is so embroiled in a lot of conflicts. I mean, they have they're dealing with China with the China with Taiwan issue in Asia. They're embroiled in this Ukrainian war in Russia and Ukraine. Okay, so they felt like they can just use one of their stooge, who is Ruto, bribe him, give him a bunch of billions of dollars, and then he'll send his troops there to do their dirty work in Haiti. And that's exactly what happened. So they came up, Ruto offered himself. Ruto, of course, and Sema, saw the money and he was like, yes, send our young folks there, our army, defense force, whatever you want to label them, and send them to Haiti, okay? And he got the cash. So now Trump comes in and becomes president. Trump is a new administration. He's really anti-globalist. He's like, okay, this American expansionist model is not working for America. America needs to concentrate on itself because America is losing its place in the world, world geopolitics. China is becoming a really, really huge factor. Russia is coming back, is making a comeback. You know, all these nations, these BRIC nations are kind of coming up. India is becoming an economic powerhouse and so forth, so forth. So USA feels like, they are falling behind. So they cannot be funding all this globalist agenda. Like I told you, there's the deep state, and I'm not talking about the deep state in the Kenyan context. I'm talking about the deep state in America, which is the military industrial complex, as Eisenhower used to call it, which we call deep state or the shadow government. The guys who actually are pushing this globalist agenda, the WHO, the World Health Organization, the UN, the Federal Reserve, the central banks, those are the people who I'm talking about. I've given you example, the Rothschilds, the Rockefeller, the Carnegie, these big, huge families that are above the law, okay, who have privatized everything. The guys who own the Vanguard, the guys who own the BlackRock. I can go on and tell you about this. These are the people who Trump is trying to kind of challenge and fight, because these guys are too powerful to a point where they are more powerful than sovereign nations. In fact, they are usurping most of the foreign nations, okay, sovereign nations, okay. So this is the deal. So America, Trump coming in, it feels like America is losing its sovereignty because America's taxpayers' money is going to projects which does not benefit Americans, okay? For example, the USAID is a funnel for the CIA. CIA, as you know, for those of you who don't know, CIA does not work for the American people. CIA actually work for these multinational corporations, okay? These globalists. Again, go look at the history of CIA, okay, with the whatever brothers. The brothers that started, forgot their name. Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting. The guys who, the brothers that came from, not the Wright brothers. What's their name? They came from Texas. Okay, CIA owners started from Texas. Came from Texas. Okay, but anyway, so Trump comes in and becomes the United States president, and the first thing he does was, he's looking to cut down unnecessary spending. You heard Zelensky last week came out and said that he doesn't know where almost 100 billion that was sent in Ukraine, he doesn't know where it's at. He can't account for it, okay? That's an example of what I'm talking about. Trump came in and it was like, you know what? We cannot be spending money, taxpayers' money, just sending it to cause all this kind of nonsense outside in the United States. So that's what I'm talking about. Anyway, Green is saying you reap what you sow. Ruto sowed arrogance and greed in this Haiti mission. You cannot mock God. Let Ruto now reap back his arrogance and greed. Absolutely, absolutely. Masiani nakuona hapo. I'm doing fine. I hope you're doing well too. So that's what's happening basically. So Trump comes in and say, listen, we cannot be sending billions to Ukraine. We cannot be sending billions to all these developing nations. They need to figure out how they can, help themselves. We cannot be throwing money up in here, okay? So the Haiti mission was known, if you know about the Haiti mission, Haiti, whatever you want to pronounce it, Haiti also, the Clinton and George Bush, they had heavily invested. They are heavily invested in Haiti, okay? The Democrats, let me just put it that. The Democrats are deeply involved in the deep state. So Trump coming out, he's like, listen, we are shutting down. We cannot be sending these billions to Kenya for them to do some missions that have not beneficial to Americans in whatsoever, okay? So if Ruto wants to continue with that mission, let him foot that bill, okay? Let Kenyans foot that bill. I'm not funding this mission. I'm not for it. America has no interest in Haiti. I'm talking about America, the country. I'm not talking about the globalist, the shadow government that uses American military to kind of pursue the agenda. Okay, I'm talking about the American people have very little to gain from whatever is happening in Haiti. So Trump is like, listen, I don't see the sense of us sending billions to the Kenyan government for them to send their troops in Haiti. Okay. So that's what's happening here. So today, or earlier today or yesterday, whatever the case is, the U.S. administration announced that they will no longer be funding the Kenyan mission to Haiti. They are not going to fund it. So here's the thing, folks. This is what I want to just talk about a little bit. Shi Mariam saying, just wait. Ruto is cooking another lie to rescue himself from shame. That is true. That guy always comes up with some wonderful stories about, the lies he talk. But anyway, so here's the thing. Yesterday there was a report. I think it's the Daily Nation, whatever the case is. They mentioned that 44,000 jobs have been lost in Kenya. Kenya has lost 44,000 jobs due to this USAID. Canceling of the USAID, okay? Not only that, another 150,000 related to the USAID cancellation. People are going to lose jobs. 150,000. Was it 150,000 or 15,000? Sorry, I'm not in here, but the 44,000 I'm sure of. That was the report. That was tied in due to the USAID being cancelled in Kenya. I'm talking about the Kenyan context here. I'm not talking about the world. Every country, every developing country that was receiving USAID can talk about their own country. I just want to focus on Kenya for a minute. Okay? I'm talking about 44. Let's just start with these 44,000 jobs that have been lost in Kenya due to the cancellation of USAID or the halting of the USAID. Okay? This is the funding. Okay? Now, remember last week when we talked about, what's this? The Kotu head, this imbecile. What's his name? Francis Atwoli. When he was telling us that, the people with payslip won't have a say in the next election because Kenya is deeply tribalistic, and people usually vote along tribal lines. Okay, which is kind of it's true. It's true what he said. And I think somebody told me in the comment section last time, her name is Rose, I think that's her name, and told me that the people who have formal employment, the payslip guys actually make up 6% of the workforce. 6% of the workforce, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, comrades. Okay, that's a minute. So which kind of confirms this code to statement, Kontu Atuoli statement, that the people receiving payslips do not actually sway how the Kenyan elections go. Okay, again, Kenyans do not vote on issues, unfortunately. All right, they do not. Okay, Greeny say God has started whipping Ruto. Wait and see how God will deal with this butcher. Absolutely, I think the world is closing in on him. So, again, Kenyans do not vote on issues, though I would beg to kind of disagree. I think issues also play to it, though the tribal factor plays a larger role. But if you can see right now, if you look at the politics of the day, Ruto is so unpopular not because he's a Kalenjin, but he's so unpopular, number one, because it was the economy that people were complaining about. Remember, everyone was sick and tired of Uhuru's 10 years tenure. Alikuwa na rule with kifua and kiburi, and people were tired of him. And the slogan seems to be how the slogan was, Maliza Wende, okay? Because the economy, he kind of crushed the economy basically after, Kibaki kind of steered it a little bit, you know. When Kibaki came in, Kibaki was a disaster. Let's not get things twisted, but Kibaki was a step, as an improvement from the 24 years of Moi's rule. Okay, so when Kibaki came in and made some changes, it was much better than the 24 years prior. Okay, that's why people see like Kibaki was a better option. But Kibaki in his second time, he was a total disaster. Tribalism and everything, whatever. Okay, so Uhuru comes in and totally tanks the economy, all right? Now, by the end of Uhuru Kenyatta's tenure, people are tired of him. They're like, Maliza Wende, Maliza Utoke. So Ruto comes in with his goodies and his promises. Ruto came in promising us heaven and earth and everything in between, telling us he'll build castles and all this stuff. Kenya will be a superpower, all this nonsense. Then he comes in and 2 years in, economy is getting worse. He's like, Ruto is like Uhuru on steroids, okay? Corruption, abduction, and all this stuff, everything, tribalism, all this, okay? So now we are in the same place we were in, okay, during Uhuru Kenyatta's rule, even worse, okay? And this guy is lying left, like just Green told us. This guy lies about everything and everything, okay? So it is not that people hate Ruto or dislike Ruto because of his tribe. It is because of his failed economic policies. I don't know what David D is doing with his life, okay? The guy is growing fatter every day. But that's not what I want to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to highlight this point that due to the failure of this government, economic failure, policy failure as far as economics are concerned, that's number one, okay? Because the number one thing that people feel, that Wananchi always feel, if you improve the economy of the country, people can care less about, your tribe, okay? People can care less about your tribe. But since Ruto came in 2 years in, and we haven't seen any positive change economically, if anything, things are getting worse. People start talking about, okay, wewe hu jamani aje. And not only that, the nepotism and tribalism that is also associated with this administration, then it plays a role where people start saying, hii serikali ya Wakalenjin is, is driving us in a bad place. Just like when Uhuru Kenyatta was president and everybody was saying, hii serikali ya Wakikuyu is not benefiting us. The same thing when Kibaki in his second term, when he was really messing up economically and there was nepotism and abduction and killing and all this stuff, everybody was, complaining about hii serikali ya Wakikuyu because Kibaki was a Kikuyu. So if the administration economic policies fail to transform the country, the nation, the state, and in fact, if they fail and they continue with this whole this scourge that has been in Kenya for a while, the scourge of tribalism, the scourge of economic deficiency, okay, no transformation, people start looking at the president and his cohorts as tribalist leader. So they lump it on and make it a tribal thing. That's why when people go to elections now, you know, the politicians do not help, because they also emphasize on the tribal factor of it. They'll go up there. That's why you had Gachagua, that imbecile, goes up there and tells us that, oh, we are Bantus, we and the people of whatever, Western, we share tradition, we have commonalities, we share traditions such as circumcision, because he's trying to appeal to the Bantu thing, but he's using tribe to divide people, because once he say this circumcision, obviously that's a shade on the Luo nation. You see what I'm saying? So this is how they're playing it. That's why I'm saying, if the president of the day fails to address the economic problems of the country and tribalism and abductions and corruption, these are the major monsters that have been actually haunting Kenyans for years, since 1963. Now, if remember, when Kibaki came, the first few years, the first year, when people start feeling that change, Kenya was happy. We were like, oh, look at this, the economy is getting great. Oh, woo, woo. Because we were coming out of a abusive relationship from 24 years abusive relationship with Moi. So here we are, we have a new lover in Mwai Kibaki, and he's improving our situation. So everybody was in love with him till 2 years into his presidency, and we realized, oh crap, this guy is starting to become abusive, just like our ex Moi. Okay. Nice seeing you, Ismail Mohammed. Nice seeing you. So that's what I'm talking about. So every time this president, okay, the leader of the state comes in and his policy fails, and he, you know, back to factory settings of ukabila, nepotism, corruption, and all that stuff, the tribal aspect of it is illuminated. It becomes the bigger point. Okay, that's why you see people, when they talk now, they look at the administration and they look at the appointments of Kalenjins. How many Kalenjins have been appointed in this administration? Okay, the same thing was happening during Uhuru. Everybody was looking at the administration and looking at how many people have been employed by this government, people in governmental parastatals and all that stuff, and all they could see was Kikuyu names. The same thing with Kibaki, the same thing with Moi. You see what I'm saying? But if these presidents, if, for example, if Ruto had working positive change, economically positive policies that are transforming Kenya, okay, moving the majority of Kenyans up the social economic ladder, people would have cared less about how many Kalenjins are in government. Okay, so that's how these things work. Tribalism and corruption and nepotism are interconnected. They're one thing. So if Ruto fails economically, we shall naturally attach that to the community that he comes from, because when we see the administration, he has employed people who come from his community. And we see the corruption, and we see the usurpation of power from other sectors, arms of government, and independent governmental institutions like the IEBC and so forth, so forth, so forth. You see what I'm saying? So now we associate his failure with a tribe that he comes from. Now let's move to the point of the day. What does this mean? Now we are being told 44,000 jobs have been lost due to this USAID halt by President Trump, and 150,000 more indirectly connected with this action by President Trump to halt the funding of the USAID. In fact, they want to abolish the USAID. Are you following me, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades? Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel as I continue. What does this mean? I told you, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, that USAID is a funnel, okay, that has been used. It's a front for the CIA to carry out its agenda on a particular country. In Kenya, I've told you, Ruto has been a globalist stooge. Okay? He's a globalist stooge. That's why he's been pro all this globalist agenda. Oh, this climate nonsense. Climate change nonsense. Climate change is a hoax, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you that right now. He's for all this sticking these animals, sticking our people with different injections. You understand? And all this GMO nonsense. They even offered Bill Gates, okay? Bill freaking Gates. They offered him immunity from any whatever prosecution in Kenya. Huh? While other countries are looking to prosecute Bill Gates. Now, that's why I'm telling you, that's an example of why I'm telling you Ruto is deeply rooted, a stooge, a proper puppet of the globalist. Okay? Green is saying, now let Ruto fund the Haiti mission from his own pockets if he really cared about Haiti. Absolutely. Now that the money, USAID, they're trying to get rid of the USAID. Okay, it has been halted. There'll be no funding. And the Haiti mission will have no funding. What will Ruto do? I like what Green has just said there. Now let Ruto fund the Haiti mission from his own pockets if he really cared about for Haiti. He cannot. He cannot. What most likely will happen is within the next few weeks, Ruto will announce, or maybe he might not announce, but he will have to return our soldiers from Haiti. He'll have no choice because Kenyans cannot afford to fund that mission. I told you, Ruto's puppet master is off was not voted on. Harris was not voted on. It's Trump who's an anti-globalist and is not going to back Ruto on this mission. So Ruto has no option, but he has to withdraw and bring back the soldiers back to Kenya. Now the problem is, and the problem will be for Ruto. Here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades. All those bonuses that were promised to these soldiers, the payments, ladies and gentlemen, the payments, they might not receive it. Oh, let me repeat this because I don't think you hear me. Please hit the like button as I preach to you this morning. I'm your political dietitian. I want to give you the nutrients so you can understand, okay, what this means, the implications of what this means. So please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel, because as I said, I'm your daily political nutrition. I want to give you nutrition to equip you to understand how politics works, whether it's geopolitics or politics of any kind. Now, Ruto is a stingy man. Remember, these thieves, they like to hoard what? To hoard money, to hoard wealth. That's why they're stealing. So now that the US have said, we are not giving you money, we are not funding that mission, we are not. So Ruto, tafuta fare ya kurudisha majeshi nyumbani. Not only that, the money that is supposed to pay these soldiers was supposed to come from the funding from the US government. But now that Trump has switched off the proverbial tap, mfereji ya pesa, Kenya has to find a solution. Ruto has to look for ways to pay these people. Mind you, or mark you, there's a high probability. Repeat with me. High probability. Say it with me. Whisper. Look at somebody besides you. Say high probability. Thank you very much. There's high probability that the money Joe Biden gave Ruto for him to go to send those forces in Haiti, there's a high probability that Ruto ate that money. There's high, repeat with me, please. It will help you. Say it. There's a high probability that Ruto, the money that he received from the Biden administration for him to pay these Kenyan forces for Haiti, for their upkeep and everything, high probability Ruto and Murkomen and the gang ate that money. Say it after me. They ate that money. Say Ruto ate that money. Thank you very much. Okay, I see you. Please like this video. I'm working. Like I say, I'm your political dietitian. I want to give you some nutrients. Now, Ruto has ate that money, assuming, I'm not even assuming, I know he did. I know he did. You saw his castle there in Gilgil, I don't know where. He ate that money. So, our soldiers, our what? Our soldiers, the forces that are in Haiti, are going to be brought back to Kenya. The bonuses and the payment that they were supposed to receive, they're not going to receive it. Because Ruto, being a Maisa, Mkono Birika, will probably tell them, mnasikia vijana, ile serikali ilikuwa inafaa kutupatia pesa ndio niwalipe, lakini hiyo serikali ya Marekani haikutupatia pesa. So poleni, mtapata ile mshahara yenu mnapatanga ile ya kawaida. There'll be no bonuses that was. Remember, these guys were going to be paid bonuses more than the way to go to Haiti. Pesa. Okay? Now, these guys will come back to Kenya disgruntled, not happy with the Ruto administration, because they'll be saying, okay, even if US stop the funding, Kenya should find its way, the Kenyan government, that is, should find a way of doing what? Keeping good of their promise to pay them the bonus and the amount that they promised them to go to Haiti. That was a deadly mission to go up there. Okay? So number one, you'll have a section of these defense forces coming from Haiti. Some of them should have lost their lives, their comrades lost their comrades, but they'll be back not happy with what has happened. Okay? Because there's no money to pay them. That's one group. Another group, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, is the 44,000 that lost their job due to the USAID being dismantled. Okay? Now, these people who work for USAID, majority of them, they're not your local Joe Schmo. These are people who, again, young, educated, very politically active. They know what's going on. They probably got the job because, you know what? Kenya, there's no jobs. We know that. There's no jobs. So if you find like a USAID, that's just like a dream job. So now that they're going to lose this, they have to look for ways of making money. They look at the current system. Remember, these are the guys who used to take trips to go to Mombasa, trips to go to Marsabit, trips to go to Laikipia, trips to go to Nairobi, trips to go. They used to take trips and pay. Pesa ilikuwa sio shida, because USAID is not like Kenyan government. They'll pay you on time and they pay good. But all of a sudden, this money is whoop, imekatwa. Now you have to face reality. Now you have to go look at the Kenyan job market. See if things are working for you. Utajaribu kutafuta kazi kwa serikali, utajaribu kutafuta kazi kwa the private sector. Unaangalia, there's no work. This is 44,000 as we have been told by the media, and another 150,000 related to the USAID who have lost their job. And like I told you, these are not your local Josh Moores. These are people who are middle class. In any society, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, let me tell you something about politics. I know it's 35 minutes. I need to kind of wrap up. What happened to the billions of our taxes he claimed to have been paid to them? Absolutely. He ate it. Alikula yeye na Murkomen na Sudi. In any society, for it to hold up, if you disturb, let me repeat this. Let me say this slowly. Woo, shaba, sabalala, saba. In any society, capitalistic society, let me just use that. If you disturb the middle class, if you disturb them, you will have no government. I'll repeat again. In any capitalist nation, I believe Kenya is not really a capitalist nation, but we are something. We are a mixture of, we are straight up, I don't know what we are. We are a criminal enterprise in Kenya. But let me just say this, as I read this in the news. The officers in Haiti now in panic mode with the news from Trump. The officers should have known everything about Ruto is covered in wickedness. Absolutely. In any society to be stable economically, the middle class cannot be disturbed. Even in America, you see, once the economy starts doing bad, you hear a lot of economic experts, and I'm not talking about the Devin D type of experts. These are real experts. They tell you the middle class is the backbone of a nation's economy. If those guys start losing their income, the society will be no more. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? The middle class. Kenya, we have a very thin number of the middle class, but these guys have a lot of influence. Those are the people that you do not want to piss off. Okay? I was told it's 6%. I have to do my research. I don't know what the actual percentage is for the middle class Kenyan middle class is. But once these guys actually lose their job, lose their place, they will join in the streets, and they're very effective. Very effective. These are knowledgeable, energetic people who are actually, those are the guys who are, mkienda maandamano, hao wanakuambia, nyie endeni maandamano lakini mimi mpaka niende job. You know why? Because their job pays good. It's worth keeping it. That's why they don't join you in maandamano. Now, if they lose that job, and now they're faced with the same struggle that the lower class, proletariat, is facing down there, they shall invigorate the movement, the idea of removing Ruto. What else if you touch your neighbor and tell him Ruto is about to leave? That's why I'm saying, if Ruto does not take drastic measures between now and the next finance bill, if he does not take drastic measures to improve the economy of Kenya, he will be out. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. And so far, Like I said, I'm waiting to see how the Trump administration will deal with Ruto. I want to see that relationship, because we know Meg Whitman is part of the globalists. Okay? Now, if the American government, the new administration, are hard and are not going to play ball and are not going to keep up with the shenanigans of this corrupt Kenyan administration, Ruto's position will be further weakened. And let me tell you, nobody supports Ruto. Even these idiots from ODM who are there, they're there in their individual capacity to help Ruto still and send more money to Raila Odinga, because Raila taxes them. Raila extorts every ODM member, every Azimio member who's linked with Raila Odinga is being extorted. It's an extortion scheme. Wakina Joho wamepelekwa huko to be ministers, but 30% of their income must go to Raila Odinga. That's why you hear them in every speech, public speech they give, they have to praise Raila Odinga. But I don't want to go up there, because that's not where I want to focus on. I want to close with this, ladies and gentlemen. It's been 41 minutes. I don't want to bore you or keep you too long. In summation, I want to say this. Please, again, before I do, like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, share this in your political WhatsApp groups. Tell them about this channel. Here we talk real politics with a real political nutritionist. Put the notification button on so every time I come in, you can always find me. I'll be back in my normal settings with my picture on live in a few weeks. Okay? So for those of you who are longing for that, to join the live show and our local live show where, I will be doing that in a few weeks. Just give me a few weeks. Okay? I have things going on. I'm working on some things here and there. I'll be back to Ninio. So fear not, but keep in touch. We'll keep on talking here. Keep joining me in my lives like today. It's a brief one, but it's worth it. So what I want to say is this. Ruto is very weak. Very, very weak. And he will become weaker, because now I'm pretty sure there's a section of the defense forces that are not happy with Ruto. Politically, all these people that are around him are just around him to fool him. They don't care about him. They're there to steal. These Kenyan politicians, they're very funny. Once they sense that you're going to lose, they will drop you like a hot potato. And like I usually say, please, guys, don't fall into this coalition of the Karuas and Matiang'i and all these useless people with whatever. They're the same. These are people who are working secretly at night with Ruto, because they're the same political class. They gain more in this corrupt setup system. So the reason why they're playing to be the opposition is to cover up, to make sure they secure all the political space. That way, there's no real grassroots revolutionary movement like Raila Odinga used to do. Raila Odinga was always the constant. Remember this. Let me just help you real quick as I briefly finish. Let me help you. Raila Odinga was always put there by the colonialist to play the role of the constant opposition folk, the head of the opposition. People believe that Raila had good intentions for the country. But now that people have discovered that Raila's has been a con man for the past 3 decades. He has lost all legitimacy. He has lost his pace. He has lost his place as the head of the opposition of Kenya, as the person who we aspire, who we look at to help us reach Canaan. People have lost faith in Raila Odinga. So now they're creating this coalition of similar con men and women like the Martha Karuas, Matiangi, Kioni, Kalonzo Musyoka, Musalia Mudavadi, to cover that space that Raila Odinga, that hole that Raila Odinga has left. And they're doing it by trying to use tribe. That's why they have Gachagua also part of that coalition. They want to take the place of Raila Odinga as the face of the opposition. That way, we don't have any other choice. They want to take all the space. They want to make us believe that we only have a binary choice between Ruto, who is the devil himself, and his demons on the opposition, who are represented by the Karuas, the Matiangis, Gachagua, Kioni, Kalonzo, Musalia. That is why they're putting these people there, so that we don't have any other choice, to cloud the political space, to deny a real grassroots revolutionary movement who are seeking to revolutionize the system like the Gen Zs did. That's why Gen Zs came up with something, a revolutionary idea of being tribeless, partyless, and leaderless. You see what I'm saying? That is what they're doing. So don't buy into this coalition. This coalition is the same people. These people are calling each other. They're in the same WhatsApp group. They meet each other at night with Ruto. Kupanga wa Kenya. Because all of them, those people who you're seeing there, they're in that NADCO table. But they want to make you believe that they're what? God made King Nebuchadnezzar eat grass for 7 years. God will make Ruto eat sand. Yes. Shei Mariam anasema Gen Z washatafuta Maraga. We have a candidate. All right, we'll see. Like I said, I don't think at this juncture it's about finding one place, one person, because as the system is set up here, even if Maraga is standing in 2027, Ruto has already has the system, okay? But anyway, as I wrap up, ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying this: the biggest loser is going to be Ruto, because now we'll have a huge portion of the defense forces disgruntled. Okay? Already nobody supports him. If there's another, hear me out, if there's another successful grassroots revolutionary movement, protest, popular protest, seeking to remove Ruto through popular revolution, mass protest, marching towards State House, I'm telling you, if Ruto does the same mistake he did of bringing the army to the streets, he shall be removed. He shall be removed. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Take that to the local bank. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. This is Kenya Revolutionary. I shall talk to you later. Like I say, listen, guys, give me a few weeks. I'm about to settle down and take care of my stuff. Like I told you, much of my gadgets have been compromised. There's this fella who he's really gun-ho into bringing me down, sabotaging my my channel, but we are dealing with him. Don't worry, we are going to deal with that. I will take care of that once I get settled and get my stuff all the way settled. I shall get back to the studio and we shall be bringing people like we used to do, and we shall continue with our struggle to find the truth and revolutionize Kenya. People ask, what have you done for Kenya? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm exchanging ideas and I'm sharing it with the people who are involved in this channel. That will be my contribution in Kenya. Maybe I can do more, maybe less. I don't know. But that's my contribution. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, please do not forget, like this video and put the notification button on, so every time I come in, I should put a video on or whatever the case is, you can always receive it. And also share it in your political WhatsApp groups, in Facebook, in WhatsApp, on X, and everywhere else, ladies and gentlemen. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Even if you're hopping into this, you just bumped into this channel for the first time. This is your political nutritionist regarding Kenyan political news. I'm here for you. I will give you the nutrients you need. So subscribe to the channel, like, share, comment, and do all the good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I love you all. Green, Shimariam, Laban, Principal Kaur, everybody, Ishmael Mohammed, everybody that has been here. Thank you so much for joining in my stream. I will see you guys later. Peace and blessings, and stay safe. Bye.